On May 24, 2024, a YouTube channel named Lay's Real Talk published a video that came directly from the front lines of the Ukraine war. The video was no propaganda piece, and it featured no footage of combat. Instead, it was a simple video, shot using a cell phone, that featured a man talking about the brutality he had seen in the war after serving for just a handful of months. That man was Li Jianwei. A native of Jiangsu, in the Henan province of China, Li had served in the People's Liberation Army, or PLA, for around 2 years before he found himself on the front lines in Ukraine. How did he get there? Like many other Russian soldiers, Li is a mercenary hired by Russia to supplement its armed forces in battle. And as he reveals in the video, being a mercenary doesn't mean that your work will be focused on special operations, or that you'll have it any easier than the native Russian troops on the ground. Like so many thousands of Russians before, you will be placed into the meat grinder of a terrible war of attrition that is very likely to kill you quickly. If it doesn't, you'll be left in a terrible state. So, what can we learn from Li Jianwei and his experiences on the battlefield? The simple answer: the Ukraine war is brutal for all soldiers on the ground. But first, a little about the mercenaries that Russia is bringing into the fold. The use of mercenaries is nothing new to Russia. It has several paramilitary groups already, each of which fights for money and is generally in support of Russia's objectives. Perhaps the most famous of these is the Wagner Group, the paramilitary force that Russia deploys all over the world. But there are others. Redut, for instance, was one of the first groups to enter Ukraine and played a role in the initial invasion back in February 2024. There is also the Don Brigade, which has links to Redut and is listed in Russia's Ready Reserve system of fighters. The point is simple. It's already well known that Russia is using mercenaries. However, the emergence of Li Jianwei's video shows that it's looking further afield to find these mercenaries. Its typical paramilitary groups, though not official parts of the Russian military, were at least Russian in origin. With the introduction of Chinese mercenaries,